Well, let's move to the Jobs Summit in Canberra today, that started in Canberra today. The federal government plans to legislate industry-wide wage negotiation. Now, this was widely known last week, long before the summit even began, which makes you wonder why they bothered with the summit in the first place. Matt, is this a Jobs Summit or is it an ACTU conference?
Well, there's no doubt it's a union love-in, but worse for the country and certainly for the participants there. I think it's more of a performance than it is a conversation. Clearly, the government has turned up to Canberra with the laundry list of things that it wants to do. Some of them being election promises, some of them just being, the wet dreams of the union and labour movement. And it doesn't matter what's said in Canberra the next few days. The poor business and community representatives are really just props for the Labor Party to pursue their own political agenda. So it's not very interesting, I think, to me certainly, and I think to most Australians because of that. It's all been preordained. And more to the point, your editorial hit this nail on the head. It's actually not meeting. It's sort of a summit now in search of a problem. We don't have a jobs problem, as you said. We do have a productivity problem. We do have a real wages problem. And it'd be much better if the government could focus on those issues first.
And one way to bring down wages is to bring down the cost of energy, right?
That's
keep up wages.
Bring up wages. Bring up wages if we bring down the cost of energy. But you're absolutely right. I mean, productivity determines wages. And I was only having a look this week. We've had a shocking record of productivity in electricity generation. In the last 20 years, our productivity in electricity generation is down 30%. And it's a big reason why our productivity overall has fallen in the last 10 years. And so if we want to get wages up, we've got to do more with less. And creating cheaper energy is the best way to do that.
Do we need to pay to bring in more workers, Matt, as Albo is suggesting?
Well, look, we clearly do need some more migrants. We had obviously a closed door during COVID the last 2 years, and that's causing a lot of issues for farmers and meatworks and things like that. We have to bring some people in. We're a growing country, but I hope we don't resort back to the lazy approach of just opening the floodgates here and going to the elevated levels of migration we had a few years ago. A lot of big businesses like that because they want the cheap labour. A lot of rich people like that because they want the cheap nannies to look after their kids. But we do need to make sure that Australians have a job and that Australian wages are there at a level that can maintain a family, can allow them to buy their own home and get their own little bit of independence in this country. So a proper balance has to be struck. And I hope the new Prime Minister avoids this sort of knee-jerk reaction from some of the business community. Just let us import a whole lot of cheap labour because that lets us make more profits.